Nkiru Okonkwo owns Seoul's underworld with an iron fist wrapped in designer silk. No one crossed her. No one dared. Until Detective Choi Min-ho, South Korea's golden boy of law enforcement, kicked down her door. One ambush, one betrayal, one bullet. Everything shattered. He crashed into her domain, dying. She pulled him from the wreckage. Now he's trapped in her fortress, his picture burning up every screen in Korea as the disgraced officer tangled up with the enemy. But what unfolds when his tiny daughter declares Kira should become her mother? When he uncovers his trusted partner engineered his downfall, will he cling to his badge? Or will the inferno in Nkiru's gaze consume him entirely? Welcome back, fam. Your support breathes life into this channel and pushes me to deliver captivating tales like this one. Stick around because this narrative will wreck you emotionally, make you smile through tears, and leave you absolutely hooked. Before we dive in, beautiful people, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. It's the best way you can support us as we continue delivering captivating stories that'll keep you hooked every single day. The container yard exploded in violence. Detective Choi Min-ho charged through the haze, weapon drawn, 7 officers backing his play. Seoul's industrial waterfront reeked of rust and criminal enterprise. Police freeze. Min-ho's command cut through the cavernous structure. Shadows scattered everywhere. Bullets tore through the darkness, rapid and vicious, from all directions. Min-ho rolled behind rusted machinery, pulse hammering his ribs. This was meant to be straightforward, a tactical strike on Nkiru Okonkwo's smuggling network. Nothing about this felt straightforward. Detective Yoon, they've got us surrounded. Officer Han shrieked before his voice ended with a brutal crack. Min-ho's veins turned to ice water. Something had gone catastrophically wrong. These weren't Nkiru's soldiers. Too aggressive, too coordinated, too lethal. His intelligence had been compromised. A silhouette materialized through gun smoke, tall, voluptuous, moving with calculated precision. Nkiru Okonkwo herself, wrapped in black combat wear that emphasized every dangerous contour. She carried a pistol, but her rounds weren't aimed at his squad. She was engaging someone else entirely. "Drop, you fool of a cop," Nkiru shouted toward him. Bewildered, Min-ho froze momentarily. That pause preserved his existence. A round screamed past where his skull had occupied seconds before. Nkiru discharged 3 surgical shots, and a gunman plummeted from the steel beams overhead. The firefight escalated. Min-ho's team was being slaughtered, their screams piercing his soul. He attempted reaching them, but Nkiru seized his jacket with shocking force. "These aren't mine," she snarled. "Rival cartel, someone betrayed your operation. Move now or bleed out here." Her security detail, imposing figures who flowed like predators, formed a perimeter while exchanging fire. Nkiru hauled Min-ho through a concealed exit as detonations ripped through the structure behind them. "My people," he roared, struggling against her grip. "Gone already," she stated with brutal honesty, though something flickered behind her dark eyes. "I attempted warning them earlier. They dismissed me. You're the sole survivor here." Min-ho's reality tilted violently. His entire unit eliminated because someone had fed him poisoned information. Nkiru forced him into a midnight black vehicle. Her guard jabbed something into his neck, maybe a sedative, and oblivion dragged him under. His final conscious thought before darkness claimed him completely. "She rescued me. Why would she do that?" Min-ho's consciousness surfaced to expensive bedding and golden sunrise filtering through floor-to-ceiling windows. His wrists were secured to an elaborate headboard with metal cuffs. His badge, weapon, and phone had vanished. Terror flooded his system. He wrenched against the restraints, but they wouldn't budge. The bedroom stretched endlessly, opulent, overlooking Seoul's sprawling cityscape. This wasn't some warehouse. This was a penthouse suite. Nkiru Okonkwo's penthouse. "Welcome back, detective." He spun his head. Nkiru stood framed in the entrance, draped in an elegant ebony silk robe that showcased her striking figure. Her natural coils were styled back, revealing sculpted features and penetrating eyes that harbored secrets. She was breathtakingly gorgeous, and he despised noticing the detail. "What's happening here?" Min-ho demanded. "Uncuff me immediately." So you can march out and collect a bullet? She approached, placing a breakfast service on the nightstand. Someone orchestrated your death, detective. Someone wearing your department's badge. You're fabricating this. You murdered my squad. I eliminated the assassins who were executing your squad, Nkiru corrected sharply. That facility was compromised. The Black Mamba Syndicate. They anticipated your arrival. Someone informed them. Min-ho's thoughts spiraled violently. Who would betray us? That's our puzzle to solve. She settled on the bed's edge, uncomfortably close. He detected her fragrance, orchids, and something more intoxicating. Before they realize you survived the massacre. Why would you intervene? He pressed, examining her expression. I've pursued your arrest for 3 years straight. Something vulnerable flashed across her features, quickly buried. Because I'm not the villain you've constructed in your imagination, detective. And because those officers yesterday, they didn't deserve execution in an orchestrated trap. She produced his device, now unlocked. Your daughter rang 4 times. Choi Sua, age 5, currently with your mother in Gangnam District. I ignored the calls, but you need to contact her before seeing what's broadcasting. Min-ho's blood crystallized. How do you possess knowledge about my daughter? I possess knowledge about everything concerning you, Detective Choi Min-ho. Your spouse perished delivering your child. You raised Sua independently while ascending to Korea's most distinguished detective. You're principled, obstinate, and utterly incorruptible. She smiled faintly. That's precisely why I never attempted purchasing your loyalty. His chest constricted painfully. She'd been surveilling him, analyzing him. For what duration? Nkiru rose, approaching a massive display mounted on the wall. Prepare yourself. She activated the television. Every major broadcast channel displayed identical imagery. Min-ho's official police photograph, besides surveillance, footage of him entering Nkiru's residence last night, unconscious in her guard's arms. The banner screamed, decorated detective turns traitor. Captain Choi implicated in corruption. Crime queen's secret lover. Police hero in scandal with Mafia boss. A news presenter spoke with manufactured gravity. Captain Choi Min-ho, previously celebrated as Seoul's premier detective, is currently wanted for interrogation regarding 8 officers killed during an unauthorized operation last evening. Intelligence suggests Choi has been covertly collaborating with criminal mastermind Nkiru Okonkwo. The pair were photographed entering her penthouse residence together hours following the massacre. Min-ho watched his entire existence disintegrate. No, this can't be happening. They're broadcasting that we've been intimate, Nkiru said, her tones strangely gentle. That you've been shielding my operations. That you ordered the strike to eliminate officers who uncovered our relationship. She deactivated the screen and fixed him with those intense, dark eyes. They've annihilated you, detective. Your career, your standing, everything you constructed. This is impossible, Min-ho whispered hoarsely. Sua, my little girl. She'll witness this. Everyone will believe it. They already believe it. Nkiru's expression transformed, becoming dangerous and alluring simultaneously. So here's my proposition. If they're proclaiming we're lovers regardless, she leaned intimately close, her lips grazing his ear. Let's validate their accusations. Min-ho's physiology betrayed his fury, responding to her proximity despite his rage. This isn't amusing. I'm completely serious. She withdrew slightly, but her gaze burned with something that stole his breath. You require protection. Your daughter requires protection. I can arrange that. In exchange, you assist me dismantling whoever engineered your downfall. You've lost your mind, he said, though his voice wavered. I'm law enforcement. You're a criminal. I have a daughter who needs, I understand. Her voice fractured slightly. I understand you have a daughter. The anguish in her eyes startled him. Before he could process it, Nkiru straightened, her mask sliding back into position. Consider it, detective. I'll have these restraints removed, but attempting escape means death before you reach ground level. She glided toward the exit, every movement graceful and predatory. Nkiru. He didn't comprehend why he called her name. She paused, glancing back. Why are you genuinely doing this? Her lips curved in a melancholic smile. Because sometimes the heroes require saving, detective, even when the heroes despise us for it. She departed. Min-ho collapsed against the headboard, his mind churning chaos. His career was obliterated, his reputation incinerated, and the woman he'd vowed to incarcerate might be his sole salvation. Heaven help him. But fragments of him wanted her return. Nkiru's bodyguard, a formidable man called Kwame, entered and released the handcuffs wordlessly. He positioned Min-ho's phone on the bedding. The boss instructs you to call your daughter, but understand this, the connection is monitored. Authorities are tracking. Select your words cautiously. Min-ho grabbed the device with trembling hands. He dialed his mother's number. She answered instantly. Min-ho, thank the heavens. The broadcasts, they're saying horrible accusations. Listen carefully, Min-ho steadied his voice. Keep Sua indoors. Prohibit television. Avoid reporters completely. I'm going to resolve this. Where are you located? Police visited here searching. I can't disclose that, but I'm secure. Just protect Sua. Tell her, his voice splintered. Tell her Appa loves her. Tell her I'm returning soon. His mother was weeping. What transpired, Min-ho? They claim you killed those officers. I didn't, Amma. I swear on everything I didn't. Someone orchestrated my destruction. I'm going to identify who. He swallowed painfully. I love you both. Protect my daughter. He disconnected before she could interrogate further. His hands quaked as he lowered the phone. Everything he'd achieved vanished. All because he'd trusted contaminated intelligence. Who had betrayed him? Nkiru materialized in the doorway again, now attired in an elegant ivory pantsuit that made her resemble a corporate executive, not a criminal overlord. There's someone requiring your attention. Min-ho followed her through the penthouse, all contemporary luxury and concealed security systems. They entered an office where a slender man wearing spectacles sat before multiple computer monitors. This is Chin, my intelligence specialist, Nkiru introduced. Display him. Chin pulled up video footage on the primary screen. This was captured yesterday, 6 hours preceding the operation. The recording showed a man Min-ho recognized immediately. Detective Park, his closest friend of 15 years, meeting with unidentified individuals in a parking structure. Min-ho's stomach plummeted. No, not Park. Continue watching, Nkiru said quietly. On screen, Park conversed with the men. The operation is scheduled for midnight. Nkiru Okonkwo's facility. Dock 7. Choi Min-ho will command the unit. Ensure the Black Mambas arrive first. Make it brutal. Eliminate everyone except Choi. I want him breathing and compromised. Min-ho felt nauseous. Park, his closest friend. The man who'd attended his wife's funeral service. The man who'd taught Sua to ride her bicycle. Park had attempted murdering him. Why would he, Min-ho whispered. Why would he commit this betrayal? Financial compensation, Chin stated flatly. The Black Mambas transferred him 3 million won plus a percentage of whatever they confiscate from Miss Okonkwo's operations. Nkiru touched Min-ho's shoulder gently. He flinched, but didn't retreat. I'm sorry, Detective. Betrayal from those we trust, there exists no agony comparable. Her voice carried personal experience. Min-ho looked at her, truly looked. She wasn't merely beautiful. She was scarred by her own betrayals. I'll execute him, Min-ho said coldly. I'll kill Park myself. Negative. Nkiru's grip tightened. You'll be more intelligent than that. We'll expose him. Destroy him appropriately. But first, we need surviving long enough to accomplish it. Kwame entered rapidly. Boss, we have complications. The Black Mambas discovered his location. They're mobilizing forces. Nkiru's expression hardened. Numbers? 20, possibly more. They want the detective. He witnessed their leader's identity. Min-ho remembered through the warehouse chaos. He'd glimpsed a man in expensive attire directing the assault. The Black Mamba leader, a face that could incarcerate the entire syndicate if Min-ho testified. They'll never cease hunting me, he realized. Not while you're breathing and talking, Nkiru agreed. She turned to Kwame. Activate complete building security. Nobody enters without my authorization. Prepare the team for evacuation if necessary. What about the detective's daughter? Kwame asked. Min-ho's heart arrested. What about her? Nkiru met his eyes. They understand she's your vulnerability. They might attempt taking her to enforce your silence. No, absolutely not. I need reaching her. Min-ho lunged toward the door, but Kwame blocked him effortlessly. You'll collect a bullet before reaching the street, Nkiru said. But I can extract her here. My people can retrieve her safely. She's 5 years old. I'm not permitting her anywhere near you or your criminal operation, Min-ho roared. Pain flashed across Nkiru's face, quickly masked. I'm attempting saving her existence, detective. She's my daughter. You're a criminal. And you're a dead man walking who's excessively proud to accept assistance. Nkiru's voice escalated, matching his. I've protected children for years through my foundations. I've preserved more lives than you comprehend. But fine, perish proud. Allow your daughter becoming an orphan because you couldn't swallow your self-righteous boss. Kwame's quiet interruption severed their argument. The Black Mambas are advancing on the detective's mother's residence. Horror flooded Min-ho. Suwa. Nkiru didn't hesitate. Kwame, dispatch Team Alpha, complete extraction. Retrieve the grandmother and child here. Eliminate anyone attempting interference. You cannot, Min-ho started. Did I stutter? Nkiru's voice had transformed. Commanding, chilling, absolutely authoritative. This was the woman who governed Seoul's underworld. Execute now. Kwame and 3 additional guards vanished. Min-ho felt helpless, terrified. His little girl faced danger because of him. Nkiru's hand found his. She'll be secure. I promise you. How can you promise that? His voice fractured. You don't even know her. I know you, Nkiru's eyes softened. And I understand what it resembles losing someone precious. I won't permit that happening to your daughter. I swear it on everything I possess. The sincerity in her voice shook him. This criminal, this powerful, untouchable queen, she genuinely cared. 3 days later, Suwa arrived at the penthouse with Min-ho's mother, both frightened but unharmed. Kwame had extracted them minutes before the Black Mambas struck the house. Min-ho swept his daughter into his arms, clutching her so fiercely she squeaked. Appa, you're squashing me. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. Tears cascaded down his face. Are you okay? Did anyone harm you? The big men said you sent them, Suwa reported seriously. And Halmiani cried a lot, and there were scary men with guns, but the big men made them disappear. It was frightening, Appa. I know, baby. I know. Min-ho kissed her forehead repeatedly. You're safe now. I promise. He looked up to find Nkiru observing from across the room, her expression unreadable. She'd kept her promise. She'd saved his daughter. His mother approached Nkiru cautiously. You're the woman from the broadcasts. The one they claim my son is involved with. I'm Nkiru Okonkwo, Mrs. Choi. Your son isn't involved with me. He's my guest while we clear his name. Nkiru's voice was respectful, gentle. You and your granddaughter will remain here where it's safe. I've arranged rooms for you both. This is very generous, his mother said carefully. Thank you for protecting them. After settling his mother and daughter in their accommodations, Min-ho found Nkiru on the penthouse terrace observing Seoul's illumination. Thank you, he said quietly, joining her. For Suwa, for my mother. You didn't have obligation. I did. Nkiru didn't look at him. Because you matter, detective. For reasons I don't completely comprehend, you matter to me. His chest constricted. Nkiru, I don't understand. She finally met his eyes, and he witnessed raw vulnerability there. Don't thank me. Don't apologize. Just survive. That's all I request. The moment stretched between them, heavy, charged, impossible. Min-ho wanted saying something, doing something, but Suwa's voice called from inside. Appa, come read me a story. I should go, he stepped back. Yes, Nkiru whispered. You should. But neither moved for a prolonged moment, caught in something neither wanted naming. The following morning, Min-ho woke to find Suwa absent from the bed they'd shared. Panic surged until he heard her laughter from the living area. He found his daughter sitting with Nkiru, both surrounded by drawing paper and colored markers. Suwa was chattering endlessly while Nkiru listened with genuine interest, actually smiling. And this is Appa when he's grumpy, Suwa showed her drawing. See his eyebrows go down like this. And this is Appa when he's sad about Nkiru's expression softened impossibly. Your mother must have been very special. I don't remember her much, Suwa admitted. But Appa says she was beautiful and kind, and she loved me very much even though she died when I was born. Do you think she watches me from heaven? I think, Nkiru said gently, that any mother who loved you would never stop watching over you, even from heaven. Minho's throat closed. This powerful, dangerous woman was being so tender with his daughter. The contradiction stunned him. Suwa noticed him. Miss Nkiru is really nice, and she has so many pretty things, and she said I can stay in the big room with the princess bed. That's very kind of Miss Nkiru, Min-ho managed. Nkiru stood gracefully, suddenly awkward. I should allow you having breakfast together. No, Suwa grabbed her hand. Stay. You can eat with us. Appa makes terrible pancakes, but maybe you have good pancakes here. Nkiru actually laughed, a real, genuine sound that transformed her face. I do have good pancakes, probably better than your Appa's. Hey, Min-ho protested, but he was smiling despite everything. They ate breakfast together, strange, domestic, surreal. Suwa dominated the conversation, telling Nkiru about her kindergarten friends, her favorite toys, her dreams of becoming a veterinarian. Nkiru listened to everything, asked questions, seemed genuinely enchanted by this tiny, chatty child. Min-ho watched them together and felt something dangerous bloom in his chest. This wasn't how it was supposed to proceed. Nkiru Okonkwo was supposed to be his enemy, not someone who made his daughter laugh and looked at her like she was precious. Later, when his mother took Suwa for a nap, Nkiru found Min-ho in the office where Chin worked. She's adorable, Nkiru said softly. You're an amazing father. Thank you, Min-ho studied her. You're skilled with her. Do you have experience with children? Pain flashed across her face. I operate 3 orphanages in Nigeria and 2 here in Korea, secretly. Nobody knows they're mine. I grew up in one, so I ensure other children don't suffer like I did. Min-ho's entire perception shifted. You run orphanages? And women's shelters, medical clinics in impoverished neighborhoods. I have my bodyguards deliver currency to struggling families when they think nobody's observing. She smiled sadly. I'm not completely heartless, detective, just complicated. Why maintain secrecy? Because if people know Nkiru Okonkwo has a soft spot, they'll exploit it against me. In my world, kindness is weakness. Mercy gets you killed. Min-ho moved closer. What kind of world do you inhabit, Nkiru? One you're now trapped in with me, she whispered. And I'm sorry for that. Before he could respond, Chin interrupted urgently. Boss, we have movement. The Black Mambas struck one of your warehouses in Busan. 5 casualties. Nkiru's softness evaporated, replaced by cold authority. Which warehouse? The medical supply one. The legitimate one. Her eyes blazed. They're escalating, attempting drawing me out. Let me help, Min-ho said. I'm a trained detective. I understand how these people think. No, you're a father first. Suwa needs you. Suwa needs me clearing my name and ending this threat. Min-ho grabbed her arm. Use me. I can help. Nkiru looked at his hand on her arm, then up at his face. Something electric passed between them. You don't understand what you're requesting. Then teach me, his voice was low and tense. Show me your world. Help me understand. She stared at him for a prolonged moment, something shifting in her eyes, curiosity, attraction, danger. All right, detective, but remember, you requested this. 2 weeks later, Min-ho became part of Nkiru's operation, learning the intricate network she'd built. To his shock, most of her businesses were legitimate, tech companies, real estate, import-export. The illegal parts were surprisingly minimal and always had complicated justifications. I move currency for people who can't use traditional banks, she explained one night in her office. Refugees, abuse victims fleeing dangerous situations. Yes, sometimes criminals too, but mostly people the system fails. That's still illegal, Min-ho pointed out, though his conviction wavered. So is denying desperate people basic financial services. Which crime is worse? He had no answer. Everything about Nkiru challenged his black and white worldview. They worked side by side, tracking the Black Mambas, building evidence against Park. Suwa thrived in the penthouse, treating it like an adventure. Nkiru's guards spoiled her shamelessly. But the tension between Min-ho and Nkiru grew unbearable. He'd catch her watching him with dark, hungry eyes. She'd notice him staring at her curves in her tailored suits, the graceful way she moved. They orbited each other like stars, drawn together by gravity but afraid of collision. One night, working late, Min-ho made coffee for them both. Their fingers brushed as he handed her the cup. Electricity shot through him. Nkiru gasped softly. "Min-ho, I know," he whispered. "I feel it too." They stared at each other, the air between them crackling. Min-ho wanted to kiss her, touch her, taste her. Every protective instinct he had screamed that this was wrong. But his heart, his body, his soul wanted her with terrifying intensity. "We can't," Nkiru said, but she didn't move away. "I know you're supposed to arrest me. I know this would be a disaster. I know." They moved together simultaneously, lips meeting in a kiss that felt like falling and flying at once. Nkiru tasted like coffee and sin and something addictively sweet. Min-ho pulled her closer, feeling her curves pressed against him, and groaned. She responded with equal hunger, hands fisting in his hair, body molding to his. The kiss deepened, intensified, consumed them both. Then Sua's sleepy voice called from down the hall. "Appa?" They broke apart, both breathing hard. Nkiru touched her swollen lips, eyes wide with shock. Min-ho stepped back, chest heaving. "I should check on my daughter." "Go," Nkiru whispered. "Go." He fled. But that night, lying beside his sleeping daughter, all Min-ho could think about was Nkiru's taste, her touch, the way she'd kissed him like he was oxygen. He was falling for the woman he'd sworn to destroy. Heaven help him. 3 days later, Nkiru's father arrived from Nigeria with devastating news and a solution. "My mother has cancer," Nkiru told Min-ho, her voice hollow, advanced. "She needs treatment in Switzerland, but it costs millions." "My father has a solution." "What solution?" Min-ho asked, already dreading the answer. "Marriage," she laughed bitterly. "To Kim Jae-sung, heir to the Kim crime family. He'll pay for my mother's treatment in exchange for an alliance." Min-ho felt like he'd been punched. "You can't be serious." "I am completely serious." Nkiru's eyes were dead. "My mother raised me alone after my father abandoned us. She starved so I could eat. She worked 3 jobs to keep me in school. I owe her everything. So you'll marry a criminal to save her." "Rich, coming from the man living in my penthouse," she snapped. "Yes, detective. I'll marry someone I don't love to save the only person who ever truly loved me." Is that so difficult to understand? It wasn't. Min-ho knew he'd do anything for Sua. But the thought of Nkiru marrying another man made him violently, irrationally angry. "When?" he asked through clenched teeth. 2 months. "The engagement is being announced tomorrow." "Nkiru, don't do this." "I have to." "No, you don't." "What would you have me do?" she demanded, tears finally spilling over. "Let my mother die?" "You don't get to judge me when you don't know what it's like to watch someone suffer because you can't afford to save them." Min-ho wanted to hold her, kiss her, promise her everything would be okay. But he had no right. He was the detective. She was the criminal. And soon she'd belong to someone else. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "For everything. Sorry doesn't save anyone, detective. Remember that." The next day, Kim Jae-sung arrived at the penthouse like he owned it. Tall, handsome in a cold way, covered in elaborate tattoos that marked his Yakuza connections. He looked at Nkiru like she was property he'd purchased. Min-ho hated him on sight. "So this is your pet detective," Jae-sung said in Korean, his voice dripping contempt. "The rogue cop who's been hiding under your protection." Nkiru's expression didn't change. "This is Detective Choi. He's my guest and under my protection. You will show him respect." Jae-sung laughed. "Or what, dear wife? You'll cancel our arrangement? We both know you need me more than I need you." He was right, and Min-ho saw it kill Nkiru. But she smiled coldly. "Nevertheless, respect him or leave." Jae-sung's eyes narrowed. Then he noticed Sua peering around the corner. His expression transformed into something uglier. "A child, you're keeping his bastard here too?" Min-ho moved before thinking, putting himself between Jae-sung and his daughter. "Watch your mouth." "Or what, detective? You'll arrest me?" Jae-sung stepped closer, clearly eager for a fight. You're a joke, a disgraced cop hiding behind a woman's protection. Pathetic. Stop, Nkiru's voice cut through the tension. Jae-sung, you'll meet my father for dinner tonight to discuss the arrangements. Until then, please leave. Don't tell me what to do, Jae-sung said dangerously. I'm going to be your husband. You'll learn to obey. I'm not your wife yet. Nkiru's voice could have frozen hell. And if you think marriage will make me obedient, you clearly don't know me. Now leave before I have Kwame throw you out. Jae-sung's jaw clenched, but he left, throwing a venomous look at Min-ho. Enjoy her while you can, detective. Soon she'll be warming my bed instead. After he left, Suwa emerged completely. That man is mean, Appa. I don't like him. I don't like him either, sweetheart, Min-ho admitted. Suwa walked right up to Nkiru. Miss Nkiru, why are you marrying that ugly man? You should marry someone nice, like Appa. Nkiru laughed painfully. Your Appa deserves someone better than me, Suwa. No, he doesn't, Suwa said with 5-year-old certainty. You're the prettiest and nicest lady ever, except when you're sad. You're sad a lot. Nkiru knelt down, hugging Suwa gently. You are too smart for your own good. Min-ho watched them, his heart breaking. This was wrong, all of it. Nkiru shouldn't have to marry a man like Jae-sung. But what could he offer her? He was a disgraced detective with nothing but a destroyed reputation and a child to raise. Still, watching her with his daughter, Min-ho made a silent vow. Somehow, he'd save Nkiru like she'd saved him, even if it destroyed him completely. 1 month later, Jae-sung insisted on Nkiru attending a major tech summit with him, showing her off as his future wife. Min-ho watched the news coverage with clenched fists as Jae-sung kept his hand possessively on Nkiru's back. She looked miserable despite her smile. Jae-sung looked triumphant. Appa, why does Miss Nkiru look so sad? Suwa asked from beside him. Because sometimes grown-ups have to do things they don't want to do, Min-ho explained carefully. Then we should rescue her, like you rescued me. If only it were that simple. Min-ho had been working with Chin, building a case not just against Park and the Black Mambas, but also against Jae-sung's family operations. If he could prove Jae-sung was too dangerous for Nkiru to marry, maybe her father would call it off. But time was running out. The wedding was in 4 weeks. At the summit, Nkiru endured Jae-sung's touches and crude jokes, smiling for the cameras. Inside, she was dying. This man would be her husband, would own her body if not her heart. She caught herself thinking of Min-ho constantly, his gentle hands, his fierce protection of his daughter, the way he'd kissed her like she was precious, a real detective who became a better man than she'd imagined. You're distracted, Jae-sung hissed in her ear. Thinking of your detective? Enjoy the memories. After we're married, if I catch him near you, I'll kill him slowly. Nkiru's blood ran cold. You wouldn't dare. Try me, wife. She excused herself to the restroom, needing escape. But Jae-sung followed, cornering her in the hallway. I see how you look at him, Jae-sung said, backing her against the wall. That rogue cop. You think I'm stupid? I think you're arrogant, Nkiru replied coldly. And I think if you touch me again without permission, you'll lose that hand. Such fire, I'll enjoy breaking you. He leaned closer, his breath hot on her face. And I will break you, Nkiru. You'll forget that detective ever existed. She smiled viciously. You can have my body, Jae-sung. You bought it fair and square. But my heart? You'll never touch it. That belongs to someone else. Fury blazed in his eyes. He raised his hand to strike her. I wouldn't, Min-ho's voice cut through the tension. They both turned. Min-ho stood there in a borrowed suit, having somehow gotten past security. He looked dangerous, furious, and absolutely magnificent. Detective Choi, Jae-sung sneered. Come to watch me claim what's mine? She's not yours, Min-ho said quietly. She's not anyone's property. She's marrying me. How does that feel, detective? Knowing I'll be the one touching her, kissing her. Min-ho moved so fast, Jae-sung didn't see it coming. One punch, perfectly placed, and Jae-sung went down hard. Min-ho and Nkiru gasped. What are you doing here? Saving you, he said simply. Like you saved me. Jae-sung scrambled up, blood streaming from his nose. You're dead, both of you. Security arrived, drawn by the commotion. Jae-sung pointed at Min-ho. This man attacked me. Arrest him. But Nkiru stepped forward. Officers, this man defended me from an assault. I have witnesses. Several bystanders nodded, having seen Jae-sung corner Nkiru. Jae-sung's face twisted with rage. This isn't over, Jae-sung promised darkly. The wedding is still happening, and when it does, Detective, I'll make sure you watch from whatever hole you're hiding in before I kill you. Nkiru's hand found Min-ho's, squeezing tightly. Get out, Jae-sung, before I have you removed. You'll regret this, Jae-sung spat blood. Both of you. He left, security escorting him out. The moment they were alone in a private room, Nkiru turned on Min-ho. What were you thinking? He'll kill you now. Let him try, Min-ho's jaw was set. I'm not letting you marry that monster. You don't have a choice. My mother will find another way to save your mother. There is no other way, Nkiru's voice broke. Do you think I want this? Do you think I want to spend my life with a man who looks at me like I'm something to break? Min-ho pulled her close despite knowing everyone could see through the room's glass walls. Then don't. Choose yourself, Nkiru. Choose. He couldn't say it, couldn't ask her to choose him when he had nothing to offer. But Nkiru understood. I can't. You know I can't. Then I'll make you able to, Min-ho's eyes blazed with determination. I'll find a way to get the money for your mother's treatment. I'll stop. Nkiru pressed her fingers to his lips. Stop being noble. It doesn't suit a disgraced detective. Despite everything, he smiled. Maybe I'm not that disgraced after all. She looked at him with such longing it hurt. Min-ho, in another life don't. Now it was his turn to stop her. Don't say goodbye. Not yet. They stood there, foreheads touching, breathing each other in. The world outside could wait. For this moment, they had each other. 2 weeks later, Jae-sung began showing up everywhere Nkiru went, asserting his claim. At business meetings, he'd touch her waist possessively. At charity events, he'd introduce her as my future wife. Nkiru endured it with cold grace. But Min-ho saw her dying inside. Worse, Jae-sung brought Sua gifts, expensive toys, designer clothes, clearly trying to win over the child. Sua, however, was having none of it. At a tech investors' dinner Nkiru hosted, Jae-sung arrived early with a diamond bracelet for her. Min-ho was there with Sua, having been invited as Nkiru's security consultant, a thin cover story that fooled no one. Miss Nkiru, Appa, look at my new dress, Sua ran over, then stopped when she saw Jae-sung. Her smile vanished. Oh, you're here. Jae-sung's expression darkened. That's rude, little girl. Say hello properly. Hello, ugly man, Sua said with perfect 5-year-old innocence. Min-ho barely contained his laugh. Nkiru turned away, shoulders shaking. What did you call me? Jae-sung's voice was dangerous. Ugly. Appa says I should always tell the truth, and you are very ugly inside and outside. Sua tilted her head. Has anyone ever told you that you're ugly? Because they should. It's important to know. Sua, Min-ho said, trying to sound stern and failing. That's enough. But Appa, look at his face. It's so mean and angry all the time. And those drawings on his arms. Who drew on him? Did he do it himself? That's very naughty. You told me never to draw on myself. They're tattoos, Jae-sung ground out. They mean I'm powerful. They mean you can't follow rules, Sua corrected seriously. And they're very ugly. I could draw better pictures. Want me to show you? I have crayons. Nkiru actually laughed, a real, genuine laugh that transformed her face. Several guests turned to stare, having never heard such a sound from the usually controlled Nkiru Okonkwo. Jae-sung's face turned purple with rage. He took a threatening step toward Sua. Min-ho moved instantly, placing himself between them. Touch my daughter and lose your hand. The room went silent. Every eye was on them. Nkiru stepped forward, voice carrying authority. Jae-sung, perhaps you should leave. This is a business dinner, and you're causing a scene. A scene? That brat insulted me. That brat is a 5-year-old child who speaks her mind. If you're threatened by a kindergartner, perhaps you're not as powerful as your tattoos suggest. Nkiru's smile was sharp as glass. Jae-sung looked between Nkiru, Min-ho, and the watching crowd. You're embarrassing me in front of everyone. You're embarrassing yourself, Nkiru corrected. Now leave. We'll discuss this later. For a moment, Jae-sung looked ready to explode. Then he smiled, cold, calculating. Of course, my love. As you wish. He left, but the promise of violence hung in the air. Suwa tugged Nkiru's hand. Miss Nkiru, don't marry him. He's mean and ugly, and he wanted to hurt me. Appa says we shouldn't be around people who want to hurt us. Nkiru knelt down, hugging the little girl. You're right, Suwa. You're absolutely right. That night, after the dinner, after Suwa was asleep, Nkiru found Min-ho on the terrace. Your daughter is extraordinary, she said softly. She inherited her mother's spirit and apparently her complete inability to filter her thoughts. Min-ho smiled sadly. I'm sorry about what happened. Jae-sung won't forget that. Good, I want him to remember that even a child can see what he truly is. Nkiru moved closer. Min-ho, I can't keep doing this, pretending he doesn't disgust me, pretending I don't feel. She stopped, but Min-ho heard what she couldn't say. I know, he whispered. I feel it too. This is impossible. I know. You're a detective. I'm a criminal businesswoman. You have a daughter. I have to marry someone else to save my mother. I know. Then why? Her voice cracked. Why does it hurt so much? Min-ho couldn't help himself anymore. He pulled her into his arms, holding her while she cried. Because some things aren't about logic, Nkiru. Some things just are. She clung to him, and he felt the exact moment she surrendered. Her lips found his in a desperate kiss, not gentle, not tentative, but fierce and claiming and absolutely right. Min-ho responded with equal passion, one hand tangling in her hair, the other pulling her curves against him. She tasted like wine and tears and everything he'd ever wanted. They broke apart only when breathing became necessary. Nkiru's eyes were wide, lips swollen, looking thoroughly kissed and beautiful. We can't, she whispered, but didn't move away. We probably shouldn't, Min-ho agreed. But I'm done pretending I don't want you. I'm done pretending this doesn't matter. Min-ho, I love you. The words came out raw, honest. I'm in love with you, Nkiru Okonkwo. I love your strength, your secret kindness, the way you are with my daughter. I love how you saved me when you should have let me die. I love you. Tears streamed down her face. I love you too. Heaven help me, but I love you so much it terrifies me. They kissed again, slower this time, pouring years of loneliness and pain and hope into the connection. When they finally pulled apart, both knew everything had changed. I have to marry him, Nkiru said, the words destroying them both. But until that day, I'm yours. Can we have that? A few stolen weeks before reality takes me away? Min-ho knew it would destroy him when she left, but having her for a short time was better than never having her at all. Yes, he whispered. We can have that. The next morning, Nkiru woke wrapped in Min-ho's arms in her bed, wearing his shirt and nothing else. They'd made love through the night, tender and desperate, saying everything they couldn't put into words. She studied his sleeping face, memorizing every detail. In 3 weeks, she'd marry Jae-sung. But for now, she had this. Min-ho's eyes opened, and he smiled. Morning. Morning, she traced his jaw. No regrets? Only that we didn't do this sooner. He pulled her closer. And that we have an expiration date. Don't. She pressed her finger to his lips. Don't think about that. Just be here with me now. He kissed her finger, then her palm, then her wrist. I'm here for as long as you'll have me. A knock interrupted them. Kwame's voice. Boss, we have a situation. Nkiru was dressed and composed in minutes, all business. Min-ho marveled at the transformation from soft and vulnerable in his arms to the untouchable queen in seconds. In the security room, Chin showed them footage from the night before. Jae-sung's car had driven to a warehouse on the outskirts of Seoul. That's a Black Mamba location, Min-ho recognized immediately. Why is your fiancé meeting with them? Nkiru's expression hardened. Because he's been playing both sides, using our marriage to gain access to my network while working with my enemies. We need proof, Min-ho said. Something solid enough to show your father. Already working on it, Chin confirmed. But boss, there's something else. The detective's friend, Park, he's been spotted with Jae-sung. Min-ho's blood ran cold. They're working together, Park and Jae-sung. It gets worse, Chin continued. I hacked Park's financial records. He's been receiving payments from the Kim family for 6 months, since before the warehouse raid. This was planned from the beginning, Nkiru realized. The raid, the setup, destroying Min-ho's reputation, all to force him here, into my protection, where Jae-sung could monitor him through me. But why? Min-ho demanded. Why go through all this? Because you're the only cop in Seoul they couldn't buy or blackmail, Nkiru said. You were getting too close to their operations. They needed you discredited and contained. And what better way than to make you dependent on me, the woman they planned to control through marriage? Min-ho felt sick. So everything, Sua's danger, your mother's illness, he stopped, unable to continue. Nkiru touched his face gently. Our feelings are real, Min-ho. That's the one thing they couldn't plan for. We weren't supposed to actually fall in love. Well, we did, Min-ho said fiercely. And now we use that against them. They think I'm your weakness. Let's show them I'm your greatest strength. Nkiru smiled, dangerous and beautiful. What did you have in mind, detective? A plan, Min-ho said. One that saves your mother, destroys our enemies, and hopefully keeps us both alive. Those are tall orders. Good thing I'm a decorated detective, and you're the smartest woman I've ever met. She kissed him, quick and claiming. Let's go to war, detective. 1 week before the wedding, Min-ho and Kira spent every night together, making love like each time might be their last. Sua sensed something but stayed quiet, just watching them with knowing 5-year-old eyes. During the day, they built their case. Chin uncovered documents proving Jae-sung's family was trafficking weapons, laundering money for terrorist organizations, and had ordered multiple assassinations, including the warehouse raid that killed Min-ho's team. This is enough to bring down the entire Kim family, Min-ho said, studying the evidence. But we need to get it to someone trustworthy, someone outside both the police and the underworld. I know someone, Nkiru said. A prosecutor I helped years ago when her daughter was kidnapped. She owes me everything and she's honest. If we give her this, she'll act on it. Then we have our move, Min-ho pulled her close. But Nkiru, once we do this, there's no going back. Jae-sung will come for us with everything he has. I know, she kissed him softly. Are you ready for that? I'm ready for anything as long as you're beside me. They delivered the evidence to Prosecutor Lee Ji-woo, who went pale reading it. This is, my God, Nkiru, this is enough to dismantle 3 crime families. Then do it, Nkiru said firmly. Before my wedding. I won't marry into this family knowing what I know. Your father will understand when I explain. And if he doesn't, I'll find another way to save my mother. Nkiru's voice was steel. I won't be a pawn in their war anymore. Prosecutor Lee nodded. I'll need 3 days to prepare the warrants. Can you stay safe that long? We'll try, Min-ho said grimly. Jae-sung showed up at the penthouse with a dozen armed men. Kwame and the guards drew weapons, but Jae-sung held up a phone showing a video. Nkiru's mother in a hospital bed in Switzerland, with guns pointed at her head. Let me in or she dies, Jae-sung said coldly. Right now on this call. Your choice, Nkiru. Nkiru's face drained of color. Min-ho grabbed her hand, but she pulled away, hitting the button to open the door. Jae-sung entered with his men, smiling viciously. Smart choice, wife. What do you want? Nkiru asked, voice shaking. I want the evidence you stole. I want the name of the prosecutor you gave it to. And I want Detective Choi's head on a spike. Jae-sung's smile widened. Metaphorically, mostly. I don't know what you're talking about, Nkiru said, but her eyes flickered to Min-ho. Don't lie to me, Jae-sung backhanded her across the face. Min-ho exploded forward, but Jae-sung's men grabbed him. He fought like a demon, but they overwhelmed him with numbers, pinning him down. Stop, Nkiru screamed, blood trickling from her split lip. Stop hurting him. Then give me what I want, Jae-sung demanded, or I'll kill your mother, then his daughter, then make you watch while I torture him to death slowly. Nkiru's eyes met Min-ho's. He saw her breaking, saw her about to surrender everything to protect the people she loved. Don't, Min-ho said through gritted teeth. Nkiru, don't. My daughter is safe with your guards. Your mother knew the risks. Don't throw away everything for Jae-sung kicked him in the ribs hard. Min-ho gasped, pain exploding through his chest. Min-ho, Nkiru lunged forward, but Jae-sung caught her arm, twisting it behind her back. Make your choice, my love. Them or the evidence. You have 10 seconds. Okay, I'll tell you, Nkiru sobbed. Just stop, please stop. She told him everything, Prosecutor Lee's name, where the evidence was stored, the planned raid. Jae-sung listened with satisfaction. Good girl. See how easy that was? He released her, throwing her toward Min-ho. Now about loose ends. He pulled out a gun, aiming at Min-ho's head. Any last words, detective? Yeah, Min-ho said, blood on his lips from where they'd hit him. You're under arrest. Jae-sung laughed. With what authority? You're a disgraced cop, remember? Not anymore, Prosecutor Lee's voice came from the doorway. The room exploded into chaos. Special Forces operatives poured in through every entrance, windows, doors, even the ceiling. Jae-sung's men were overwhelmed in seconds. Jae-sung grabbed Nkiru, using her as a human shield. Don't move or I'll kill her. Go ahead, Nkiru said coldly. She twisted suddenly, driving her elbow into his throat. Years of self-defense training kicked in. She disarmed him in seconds, his gun clattering to the floor. Jae-sung dropped, gasping. Nkiru stood over him, picking up his gun. You made 3 mistakes, she said, voice deadly calm. First, you threatened my mother. Second, you hurt the man I love. Third, you underestimated me. She handed the gun to Prosecutor Lee. He's all yours. As police dragged Jae-sung away, screaming threats, Nkiru turned to Min-ho. He was being helped up by medics, ribs bruised but nothing broken. You knew, he realized. You knew they were coming. That's why you told him everything to stall. Prosecutor Lee called while you were showering this morning, Nkiru admitted. The warrants came through early. I had to keep him talking until they arrived. You could have told me. And risk you giving it away? You're a terrible liar, detective. She smiled through tears, touching his bruised face gently. Besides, I needed him to think he'd won. Arrogant men always monologue when they think they've won. Min-ho pulled her close despite the pain. You're brilliant and terrifying, and I love you so much. I love you too, she whispered against his chest. Prosecutor Lee approached. Miss Okonkwo, I need you to come with me to give a formal statement. And Detective Choi, I have some news you'll want to hear. What news? Min-ho asked. The commissioner received all the evidence of your setup this morning. Every charge against you has been dropped. You're being reinstated with full honors and back pay. And Detective Park is currently being arrested for conspiracy, corruption, and multiple homicides. Min-ho's knees nearly gave out. I'm free? You're free, Prosecutor Lee confirmed. Welcome back, Captain Choi. Nkiru's eyes shone with tears. You did it. You're a detective again. We did it, Min-ho corrected. Together. They held each other while police cleared the penthouse, both shaking from adrenaline and relief and overwhelming emotion. The news coverage came 2 days later. It was explosive. Seoul's biggest crime families dismantled in one coordinated raid. The Black Mamba leader captured. Dozens of corrupt officials arrested. And at the center of it all, Nkiru Okonkwo and Captain Choi Min-ho, the unlikely partners who'd brought them all down. Nkiru's father arrived from Nigeria, initially furious about the broken engagement. But when she showed him proof that Jae-sung had planned to kill her after the wedding and take over her empire, his anger transformed into grudging respect. You're more ruthless than I raised you to be, he said. Your mother would be proud. How is Mama? Nkiru asked nervously. Worried about you, but the treatment is working. The Swiss doctors say she'll recover fully. He smiled slightly. I paid for it myself. I have money, Nkiru. I just wanted to see if you'd sacrifice for family like we sacrificed for you. That's twisted, Papa. That's family. He looked at Min-ho, who stood protectively beside Nkiru. So this is the detective who captured my daughter's heart. Min-ho bowed respectfully. Sir, I know I'm not who you envisioned for her. No, you're not. You're better. Nkiru's father extended his hand. Any man who sees her value beyond her empire is worthy. Any man my granddaughter likes, and she won't stop talking about you, has my blessing. Granddaughter, Nkiru asked, confused. Suwa ran in at that moment. Miss Nkiru, did you hear? Appa is a hero again. They said so on TV, and the mean ugly man is in jail forever. Nkiru's father laughed. This one, she is spirit. Takes after her stepmother to be. Everyone froze. Nkiru's eyes went wide. Minho's heart pounded. We're not, Min-ho stammered. You should be, Nkiru's father said bluntly. Life's too short to waste on protocols and waiting. You love each other. She needs a good man. You need a powerful woman. Your daughter needs a mother. What's the problem? Papa, Nkiru's face was red. What? I'm old. I say what I think. He ruffled Sua's hair. What do you think, little one? Should your Appa marry my Nkiru? Sua's face lit up like Christmas. Yes, 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 yes. Then Miss Nkiru can be my Amma. I've been wanting an Amma forever. Nkiru's eyes filled with tears. Sua, sweetheart, I'm not trying to replace your real mother. I know, Sua said seriously. But real Amma is in heaven, and you're here, and you're nice and pretty, and you make Appa smile, and you give good hugs. So can you be my Amma, please? Nkiru looked at Min-ho, helpless. He smiled, taking her hand. I had a whole romantic proposal planned, he admitted. But apparently my daughter beat me to it. Nkiru Okonkwo, will you marry me? Not because you have to, not for any reason except that I love you desperately and want to spend my life with you. Yes, Nkiru whispered, then louder. Yes, of course, yes. Sua cheered. Nkiru's father smiled smugly. And Min-ho pulled the woman he loved into his arms, kissing her deeply while their daughter danced around them and Seoul's skyline glittered with promise. The ceremony was small, intimate, just family and close friends. Nkiru wore white, her curves showcased perfectly in a dress that made Min-ho's breath stop. Sua was the flower girl, taking her duties very seriously. Min-ho's police colleagues attended, sheepish after doubting him but genuinely happy for their captain. Nkiru's business associates, mixed with his law enforcement friends, former enemies finding common ground. Nkiru's mother, now in remission, cried through the entire ceremony. My daughter, she kept whispering. My beautiful daughter found love. When they exchanged vows, Min-ho spoke from the heart. You saved my life that night in the warehouse, but you saved my soul every day after. You taught me that strength and kindness aren't opposites, that loving you doesn't make me weak, it makes me complete. I promise to stand beside you in every battle, to love you fiercely, to protect your heart like you've protected mine. You're my partner, my love, my home. Nkiru's voice shook with emotion. You saw me when everyone else saw only what I appeared to be. You challenged me, protected me, loved me despite everything. You gave me your daughter's heart, the most precious gift imaginable. I promise to be the partner you deserve, the mother Sua needs, the woman who will fight beside you always. I was alone for so long, Min-ho. Thank you for making me found. They sealed their vows with a kiss that went on so long, Sua loudly complained. Appa, Miss Nkiru, you're being gross. Everyone laughed, even Nkiru and Min-ho. At the reception, Sua gave a toast that had everyone in tears. My Appa used to be sad sometimes. Even when he smiled, his eyes were sad because Amma died. But then Miss Kira came and made his eyes happy again. And she makes me happy too because she reads me stories and lets me help with her work and calls me sweet girl in her special language. So I'm really happy they got married because now we're a family. The end. She bowed and applause thundered through the room. That night, in their honeymoon suite, Min-ho slowly undressed his wife. You're so beautiful, he whispered against her skin. And you're mine, finally, completely mine. I was always yours, Nkiru replied, pulling him down to her. From the moment you woke up in my bed, looking confused and angry and devastatingly handsome. They made love slowly, savoring every touch, every kiss, every moment. This wasn't stolen time anymore. This was forever. 6 months later, Nkiru realized she was pregnant the same week Min-ho was promoted to chief inspector. They told Sua together, nervous about her reaction. Sua simply hugged Nkiru's still flat stomach. Hello, baby sister or baby brother. This is Sua, your big sister. I'm going to teach you everything, like how Appa makes bad pancakes and how Amma, she paused, looking at Nkiru shyly. Can I call you Amma now? Real Amma is still my first Amma, but can you be my second Amma? Nkiru's eyes flooded with tears. I would be honored to be your second Amma, Sua. The little girl beamed, then continued talking to the baby. So Amma's pancakes are good, but she works too much. And Appa worries too much, but they're the best parents ever. And I'm going to be the best big sister ever. We're going to be so happy. Min-ho wrapped his arms around both his girls, his heart so full it hurt. We already are happy, sweetheart. We already are. 9 months later, Nkiru went into labor during a business meeting. Min-ho rushed her to the hospital with Sua and both grandmothers following in another car. 12 hours later, Nkiru gave birth to a healthy baby boy they named Choi Okonkwo Min-jae, combining both their family names. Min-ho held his son with tears streaming down his face. He's perfect. You're perfect. Thank you, Nkiru. Thank you for everything. Thank you for loving me, Nkiru whispered, exhausted but glowing. For seeing past what everyone else saw, for giving me a family. Sua climbed carefully onto the hospital bed, peering at her new brother. He's so small and red, and he has hair. She looked up at her parents seriously. I'm going to protect him from everything bad, just like Appa protects us and Amma protects us. We protect each other. That's what families do. That's exactly what families do, Min-ho agreed. Later, when the room was quiet and both children slept, Min-jae in Nkiru's arms, Sua curled beside them, Min-ho took a photo on his phone. His wife, once the untouchable crime queen, now soft with sleep and motherhood. His daughter, who'd accepted Nkiru so completely. His newborn son, the future they'd built together. What are you thinking? Nkiru asked sleepily. I'm thinking about that first morning, Min-ho admitted. Waking up handcuffed to your bed, terrified and angry and convinced you were the enemy. If someone had told me then that we'd end up here, married with 2 children, building a life together, I would have laughed. And now, Nkiru prompted. Now I know that sometimes the person you think you're supposed to arrest turns out to be the person you're supposed to spend your life with. He kissed her forehead gently. You were never my enemy, Nkiru. You were always my destiny. Smooth talker, she teased, but her eyes shone with love. I love you, Detective Choi. I love you, Mrs. Choi. Outside their hospital room, Seoul glittered with lights and life and infinite possibilities. Inside, a family slept, unconventional, hard-won, absolutely perfect. 5 years passed in a blur of happiness and chaos. Sua, now 10, was top of her class and wanted to be a prosecutor, like Aunt Jiwoo. Min-jae, 5 years old, was as stubborn as his father and as clever as his mother. Min-ho ran Seoul's anti-corruption division, having cleaned up the police force thoroughly. Nkiru had expanded her legitimate business empire while secretly funding more charities than anyone knew about. They still fought sometimes, both too stubborn, too strong-willed for smooth sailing. But they always came back together, always chose each other. One evening, Nkiru found Min-ho on their penthouse terrace, the same place they'd first kissed all those years ago. Thinking deep thoughts, she asked, sliding her arms around him from behind. Just remembering, Min-ho said, covering her hands with his. That warehouse raid, how everything went wrong and somehow went right simultaneously. Best worst night of my life, Nkiru agreed. I shot several people, committed kidnapping, and fell in love. Quite the evening. He turned to face her, pulling her close. Do you ever regret it? Leaving your old life behind, choosing this instead? Never, Nkiru said without hesitation. That wasn't a life, Min-ho. It was survival. This, she gestured to their home where their children's laughter echoed, this is living. Even though you're married to a cop? Especially because I'm married to a cop, the most decorated, most stubborn, most loving cop in all of Korea. She kissed him softly. You saved me, Min-ho, in every way a person can be saved. We saved each other, he corrected, and we keep saving each other every day. From inside, Sua called, Amma, Appa, Min-jae is trying to eat my homework again. That's biologically my son, Min-ho sighed. He gets it from you, Nkiru laughed. Hand in hand, they went to deal with their children, their chaos, their beautifully imperfect life. That's the end, friends, but don't click away just yet. When you haven't explored the stories in our Mafia romance playlist, if this one captivated you, trust me, you're absolutely not prepared for those gems either. If you enjoyed this story, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, beautiful people. See you in the next one.